For more now on this, I'm joined on the set by Benjamin Hautecouverture. Thanks so much for coming in to join us. You're a senior fellow at the Foundation of Strategic Research, specializing in weapons of mass destruction. You also were at an earlier presentation today concerning this meeting. What do you hope will come out of today?
Well, the things are pretty simple. We thought that chemical weapons had disappeared from the battlefield since the end of the 90s. And it appears that it's not the case. It's not the case in Syria. It's not the case in Sudan. It's not the case in Malaysia, maybe. And so what about the non-use habit, or even a taboo, what we thought would be a taboo? So the norm is in a process of weakening. So the French initiative is to remember that perpetrators of chemical attacks, whoever they are to be found and to be responsible for what they did. So the whole purpose is to create a partnership of willing states in order to blame and shame organizations, entities, or individuals being convinced to be part of a chemical program or a chemical attack. In order, in the future, we do hope that it can deter individuals to be a part of future programs or future chemical attacks. So it's a partnership, it's free, and it will gather something like 29 countries at the beginning. I think the UN Secretary General will be there in Paris this afternoon, and it's a signal. It's a signal that impunity cannot be tolerated.
It is a signal, but in order for things to really change, action has to take place at some point. France has already said it's going to slap down sanctions on some 25 individuals and companies linked to these chemical attacks by Syria. Do you think sanctions are the way to go, and are they enough?
Of course they're not enough. It's the first step. It's a first step. Again, to blame, to shame, to sanction is the first step. A second step would be to have a legal mechanism and to put those guys into courts. But this is very sensitive issue between states, of course, as you do know, and at the moment, there is no agreement on such a step among the states being involved in that partnership. So for the moment, it is sanctioning and blaming and shaming, and as a first step.
This is also a manner of short-circuiting things at the UN, where Russia has repeatedly vetoed any kind of serious inquiry into the situation in Syria. What do you think about the Russian reaction?
Oh, to that initiative?
And yes, and to this one today.
And to this one today. Well, the initiative of fundamentally, I mean, formally, they could welcome the initiative because it's not very risky, I would say, for them. But fundamentally, they would argue against because they have shown all signs of bad will in that bad and sad story in Syria related to the use of chemical weapons by the Assad regime. So the only thing is that it is not a legally binding instrument. It's just a partnership that they can say, okay, let the Western countries go. And for the rest, there is no real risk for the Assad regime.
Benjamin, thank you so much for coming in to speak to us. Benjamin Hautecouverture, who's a senior fellow at the Foundation for Strategic Research. Thank you.